very strong possibility of coming back to bite the government. I'll go so, you know, in an outrageous mode, I'll go so far as to say that maybe some of these foreign banks will just pull their money out of America. Let's get the Swiss banks, UBS, Credit Suisse, and all like that. Just no longer invest in the United States. Invest in India, invest in China, invest where they want. There goes the New York stock market right there, in my opinion. Now, will they go that far? Maybe not. A second one, you'll read in that letter I just passed out. Why don't they go to the U.S. Treasury and say, okay, U.S. Treasury, we want you to tell us about all of our citizens that are investing in the United States. Go ahead, can you imagine that? They got to go to all the American banks and say, okay, the Italians, all right? Everyone is an Italian national. The Italian government has asked U.S. Treasury to give them a list of all of the Italians that have money in the United States. Yeah, why not? That's reciprocity.
Isn't it a big burden for these banks to hire people?
Absolutely right.
Why do they want to take America? If they see an American passport, they're probably going to say, go bank somewhere else.
You are absolutely right. That's exactly what's happening. Credit Suisse has informed in January of this year all of the American clients in Credit Suisse in Luxembourg, bye-bye. You cannot open an account in Switzerland today unless you live there, if you're an American citizen.
I mean, if you have a double citizenship, why would the bank even know that I was an American citizen?
Oh, you see, there you go. I didn't have to say that. I didn't say that.
I mean, how would they know?
How would they know? That's a very good question. If you go in there and say, hi, here's my other passport, you know.
Yeah, I mean, they don't ask me my passport. I just have my carta d'identità.
The United States government has enacted 3 laws. Congress, you know, when the congressman was talking about gay marriage and spending all this time, you know, in substance matters like that. On average, 700 people renounce American citizenship every year. Over 1 million requested.
Oh.
Yeah, every year. The United States government has, since 1996, had 3 laws directed at those 700 people per year.
You're kidding.
Your tax dollars at work.
Yeah.
Right. What a waste of time. So the remarks today about America were, you know, the ambassadors, we love it more, et cetera, et cetera. Well, Congress looks at it in a different light. And if you want to give up your American citizenship, be prepared, okay? It's going to cost you. All right. Now, the current rules pertain to those people who renounce American citizenship since the 7th of June 2008, hold on, 7th or 17th of June 2008. If you had renounced prior to that time, 17 June 2008, if you had renounced American citizenship prior to that time, you had different rules applied. You had to file, under certain circumstances, you may have had to file U.S. tax returns for 10 years, etc. You renounce American citizenship today, in a word, it is considered a sale of your worldwide assets.
Oh my gosh.
What? Fictitious, but it's considered a sale. And all increase in value of those assets during the time you've been an American citizen will be taxed. Subject to a special tax. It's an exit tax. You want to give up American citizenship? Fine. Buy your way out. Pay money to the United States government. Yes, ma'am.
Could you write something down as an example?
An example? Do you own your home abroad?
Yes.
Hmm?
Yes.
Has it gone up in value?
Oh, yeah, well, I have a home abroad.
Okay, fine. So the value of your home has gone up.
Could you write it down? Because I can't absorb it if you don't write it down.
Well, okay, I can, well, I can't take notes right now, but I will. I'm going to take notes. We're having notes being taken of the meeting today. Yes.
Now, my husband just turned in his green card, okay?
Uh-huh.
And he had it for eight of the 16 years. He was advised by the embassy that, well, you know, if you're not planning on moving back, I would just get, you know, turn it in.
Great.
So,
good.
I mean, they never informed him anything about sale of worldwide assets or taxable. I mean, well,
the embassy, quote unquote, from the State Department and all, you know, doesn't really necessarily go hand in glove with the IRS. I can give you an example of that. I worked at the American Embassy in Paris back in the early 70s. And the IRS, in a moment of brilliance, thought, well, let's see, we tax these people because they're American citizens. Why don't we tie in the idea of whether they're paying taxes or not with the renewal of the passport? Got your passport because you're an American. So they went down to the consular section, the American Embassy in Paris, they put a note on the desk of the consular section. If you're here to renew your American passport, please tell us the last time you filed a U.S. tax return. lasted 3 days. I was legal officer at the embassy at that time. They called me, I went down, I saw this. In 3 days, the consular service had required the IRS to take that note off the desk. They didn't want to do it. Now, so if somebody at the embassy says that to you, I can fully understand it. It wasn't somebody with the IRS, though, that said that to you. So you want to look at the bulletin that I just made mention to, you'll see that he is subject to those rules. I don't want to go into what he should do, if anything, in that regard. But let me just explain what the rules are, and then you can see it. Okay, so you own or that your green card husband owns real property abroad. Okay, I hope, in spite of the recent economic crisis, the value of that home has gone up.
It hasn't.
Really sorry. You want me to write that down?
No.
Okay. The corollary is, unfortunately, the dollar has gone the other way. Okay, and this is all valued in dollars. I mean, the sale has to be converted into U.S. dollars. Now, the good news is there is a $600,000 threshold. All right. Now, let me get back into the basic rules. To whom does this apply? I think I should really start out with that, so that you don't all panic. In order to be a covered expatriate, as an American citizen, one to whom these rules apply, you have to have one of 3 different conditions occur. 1, your average annual. There you go. There you go. Now, whether they're zealously going to say, "But you were born in the United States," well, gee, doesn't that mean you're American? You know, whatever. No, I think most of these banks, they don't want to comply with it. It's an administrative burden on them. It costs them money, and as a result, you're in a situation right now where many American citizens living abroad are having trouble maintaining their foreign accounts, and under the Patriot Act are being told they can't open an account in the United States because they don't have a U.S. address. And all of this because that's what the IRS, wanted. Maybe not the consequence they intended, but yet that's the practicality of the situation.
I like the way you said that.
Huh?
I think that is very true. I don't think that's what the IRS intended.
Yeah.
But that is the practicality. And it's like I said yesterday, it's how the banks interpret the rules. And it is. It's for the financial institutions, it's high risk, low reward.
Yeah.
Meaning high risk, more paperwork, more compliance, more people to hire. There's nothing written that says we won't do it. And then someone says in management, well, this is just so much and so many forms and so many things, and we get maybe 2 Americans, and the Americans living.
What are the rules on giving up American citizenship? Okay. Now, you may want to take note of this if this is a serious concern for you. The Internal Revenue Service issues a bulletin, the Internal Revenue Bulletin, and in November, on the 9th of November last year, the Internal Revenue Bulletin number 2009-45. It's available on the internet. It's available at the Internal Revenue Service website, www.irs.gov. You can get the Internal Revenue Bulletin 2009-45, dated November 9th of 2009. And within it, it covers all of the rules on renouncing American citizenship. And until the U.S. Internal Revenue Service and the U.S. Treasury Department issue regulations, this is the Bible. It says within it, until the actions are taken by Treasury and the IRS to further announce the rules on the law that this covers, that this pertains to, this explains all of the rules. All right, now, renouncing American citizenship, or, and again, I think this is just absolutely outrageous, or giving up a green card. I don't need a green card anymore. So fine, I'm going to turn mine in. Fine. If you had that card for over, I think it's 5 years. Let's see, 5 or something. Or 8 out of. I think it's 8 out of 15 years. I think if you have been the possessor of 1 or more green cards during the last 8 out of 15 years, and you give up that green card, it's the equivalent of renouncing American citizenship. Yeah,
you can't
there
get
you
it back.
go. So you may have your spouse, non-American, you may have lived in the States for a period of time, got the green card to go do that, came back to Europe, never turned it in. Why? What difference does it make? Kind of help you get into the States? Mm-hmm.
What in the case a U.S. citizen does renounce citizenship? what wheels start to run. Washington, I'm sure, will not just accept this goodbye. They will probably activate some actions on this.
You mean, how do you renounce?
If you're not,
No, what happens as a result?
They get a wave, you mean a wave of